Welcome to 2019. I hope the holidays were good to you, and welcome back to the channel. I am not really one for New Year's resolutions at all. I'm certainly not going to tell myself that I'm going to ride that bicycle and lose any weight this year. That would just be a lie. I do have a plan to kind of clean this area a little bit. Yeah, I'm kind of done shooting my little house videos in the kitchen or the dining room. I've cleaned my desk off. You can't see it because you're on it, but I've got that far. I'll work on a little backdrop. But more than anything, I'm just going to keep grinding. I'm going to make motorcycle content. I'm going to spread the joys of motorcycling to, well, the people out there that are watching this. I'm going to keep fixing bikes. I'm going to keep doing what I do. And that is exactly what today's video is about. Spreading the joy of motorcycle to everyone else. That's right, new bikers. Can we get more new bikers into stuff? And I use the term bikers kind of loosely. You know, I don't want to start a debate down in the comments about new bikers and riders and motorcycle enthusiasts, because I see that on Facebook, and we're not talking like what's what today. We're talking new people getting into it. And I guess the most common thing I see is, you know, you're not a biker unless you built it and all that kind of stuff. And that's up for debate, not really what I'm talking about, except that who taught you how to work on your bike? Who taught you how to use your hands? How'd you learn to ride? All those things. For me, we all know that I learned to work on bikes in school. I did learn to use my hands from my stepdad, who owns an electrical company. From the time I was a kid, you know, I was like the helper, and I had to hand him tools, and I watched what he was doing, and that's how I learn, is by watching anyway. I can't read a book and just know. I can imitate, and that's how a lot of you guys would learn. That's why you watch YouTube, is because you can imitate what you see. There's different ways to learn. That's another story anyway. I also learned to ride a bike from my stepdad, a motorcycle. Obviously I learned to ride a bicycle as a kid, but when I was like 12 or 13, he had a lease out in the country around here. You know, a lease is, you know, leased property from Mead, the paper company. And, well, we had an old Honda dirt bike. I think it was a 125. It's older than me, actually. And, well, he taught me the gears, the clutch, all that kind of stuff, and I learned to ride. Now, it was a long time. Ooh, hello. Holy smokes. Ha! Scared the crap out of me. Where is he going? Is he going where I am? Now, I admit, back then on that property, I enjoyed having my shotgun with me a whole lot, or my 22 rifle, so I drove the truck a lot too. But that's where I learned to drive a manual transmission, you know, a stick, and an old Nissan two-wheel drive truck, and the dirt bike. And it was a long time before I transitioned from dirt to the street, but I think when you talk to most people that ride, they learned in the dirt. What about now? What about in today's world? You know, my kid, it makes me so proud, my 5-year-old wants a dirt bike for Christmas, right? Yeah, that's cool. Except there's a problem. I don't own any property. I don't own a truck. There isn't a place for him to ride. I mean, when we think of a kid getting a dirt bike, we all think CRF 50, right? I mean, that's what I think of. That's a nice bike. It's $1,000 though. You know, that old Honda that I had, well, it stayed in the woods. I can't go buy a $1,000 motorcycle and leave it in the woods. I don't have the truck to transport. I don't have, you know, if my yard is small, so I can't leave it at home. If it were left in the woods, it probably wouldn't start when it was time to ride it. You know, I'd have to constantly change fuel out of it because it sits for too long, so we don't get out there enough. But my yard is small. I have quite a predicament on getting my kid a dirt bike for Christmas. But then I thought of the new big box store brand electric dirt bike, right? Everybody knows the Razor scooter, the big old hunk of plastic that's, well,
a lot cheaper than a dirt bike. I can lay it on its side, probably fit in my trunk of my car, and well, that just seems like a good viable option. Except I don't want that one. Why? Because it's some big giant company that, I don't know, I just didn't want that one. I wanted to research. I always research before I spend any amount of money because I only want to buy once. I want to have something my kid's proud of. I want to really teach them two wheels. I don't want to just get them a toy and throw them out in the backyard. We're potentially building a rider in my kit. Well, that's when I was really happy to find Burromax. Now, this isn't a sponsored video. It's just a small company that, in my research, there just wasn't a lot about them on the internet, but what there was really, really good feedback. So I have to go put it together. So I'm going to tell you more about it right now. As soon as this car leaves, gets out of my way. Because it's at the shop hiding, so that nobody knows that it's there. Onward. Right now. And go. You're really cutting into my video time, guys. Let's move this thing on along here. Alright, now we can go, because I'm going to skip this red light.
So in my massive search for, well, an affordable dirt bike for my kid, because the CRF50 is way too expensive, to more than I want to spend on a kid that may or may not even like two wheels. And the plastic toy is, well, nothing to really be excited about in my opinion. And well, if the CRF50 is too expensive, well, they make electric ones that are even more expensive than that $1,000, $1,200 price tag. This one is right in the middle of the road with dual suspension. Best part, I think, probably though, is that it's rated for up to 250 pounds, which means I too can ride it. How it works is very similar to an actual motorcycle with the way the forks bolt up, the handlebars have risers. I'm just overall pretty impressed at how we can work on it together.
Well, that didn't go nearly how I planned. So apparently it's still winter time in the shop, so obviously I'm off today. But everybody else might as well be off because there's nothing going on there. And they were ruining all my shots. So basically what just happened is, well, I wanted to be able to ride my bike today. That's why I'm on the bike. But I have to go back and get my car to actually put this thing in the trunk and get it to my mom's for the big surprise for my kid.
Now all that's left is to give it to him. Alright, the day is here. Let's go. What is it, JT? Yeah? What do you think? Mr. Excited over here? Does it fit you? Here. Alright, you got it?
Yeah.
Right there. Oh, perfect.
Man, that's perfect size.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
can you stand it up?
JT. Look at you, JT.
All right, dude. I'm super glad that this works. I bet we can move those handlebars for you, though. What do you think?
How? Look at your brother.
How? Let's see.
What? He's this age at church. They call him George.
Watch this.
Baby, you don't need the back.
How's that feel?
Good. You want a bite?
Can you put your... I'm holding the bike. Can you put your feet on the pegs?
No.
Yeah. See? How's that feel? Is that good like that? Can you do like that? Can you do like that? Yeah, I think that's a good spot for them. Okay? Don't move them. Okay? Can you kick that kickstand up with this foot? Yep, just like that. This way. There you go, just like that. Then turn your key. There you go. All right. Look, see you got your own shock down here. See it?
Yeah.
and I can turn it, and it'll make it super soft for JT. Let's see, how are we looking? Almost there. I'm gonna put it all the way down.
Why?
Cause you little. And I could put it, well, let's put some tension on it. There we go. Look, see that? Look, it even has some in the front. All right, you ready now?
Yeah.
Let's see if it rides any better. You got it, there you go.
I should mention JT learned to ride on a balance bike before anything else. That was talking earlier about how we all learned to ride. I learned to ride a pedal bike, with training wheels, and then the training wheels were off, and then it took some time. I was 7 before I could ride. JT though was balancing by 3, and he does pretty well. That's why I don't know what to do with his feet though, it seems. So what do you guys think for a first mini bike? Gas only? Is electric a good substitute? I'm glad that he didn't seem to mind. There are a lot of pros and cons to electric versus gas. We'll talk about that later on in the month, probably when Harley releases their information about the live wire, because we're supposed to find out cost, range, all the information should be out this month, even with a final release date, I think. So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna go play some more and we'll get back in just a second. Yeah, they're not flat. They're real tires, and when they run out of tread, you and me can change them. And I'll teach you how to change a tire. Man, I wish you guys could see how excited his face is right now. Yeah. What do you think of this thing? Tell them.
Cool.
It's cool? I think so. Cool. So one aspect that I really liked about this version too, it has a removable key. So naturally it gets a bar and shield key. You want to put it back in there? More kind of the realistic aspect than a toy. But we've all ridden this thing today, even the baby. He wanted to ride, so I took him for a ride, and now the yellow light has gone down, so I gotta plug it in. It's a lithium ion battery. So I'm pretty sure I probably cut out a lot of stuff about Burromax themselves. I don't want this to feel like a giant commercial because it's not. It's not sponsored at all. I just wanted to shoot a video about, well, my kid getting his first bike. So what I'm trying to say, because it's lithium ion, you're fine to partially charge it or whatever. It's supposed to take about 3 hours, 3 to 3.5 hours to charge from totally empty to fully charged, which is super fast over like your Power Wheels type toys that take like 18 hours to charge and 30 minutes to ride, which is how most of the toy brands are. Let's relate that to actual motorcycles really quick too. Currently, Harley and most of your other major motorcycle brands are gonna run an AGM battery, a gel type, which is far superior than lead acid, which was used in your super old. I think Evo was the transition between old school battery type and the new stuff. But I'm actually out at my parents' house because I wanted him to learn to ride in some nice soft grass, softer than what, you know, thick, good grass. So if he could fall, which he did not. I did find though, out here in the shed, the nearly forgotten about Honda 100 is what we learned to ride on. Over the years, one of my brothers has tried to get it back running again. Looks like we're leaking a little bit down on that shift lever there. Got the whole room smelling like gas. This is old metal tank back then. I think it's an early 80s model. I wonder if it says it on here. Sure does. Old 1984. 1 year older than me. There's some wood right there. Man, we gotta get out of here. Okay. So that's what me and my brother learned to ride on. Me and 2 stepbrothers both. I think my stepdad said he'd had that since like early 80s, early 90s, whatever. So in my research of this, I kept noticing how they measure these batteries are measured in amp hours, motors are measured in a watt. So this is a TT350 watt. The battery they don't talk about. What I've noticed about actual motorcycles, the Zeros, the live wire that's coming out, they talk about mile range. Well, it's an interesting way to measure it because riding style is going to change that mileage. So I'm a bit curious to see how that translates, you know, later on, these type motors versus big motors. I kind of wish that they would have a standard rate for the motors that we're seeing in electric vehicles coming out. The Tesla is really cool to me. I don't know, I just into electric vehicles. Are you guys curious about that at all? Or are you all old school and gas rules? Suddenly I'm reminded of, is that iRobot with Will Smith, where he has the old gas motorcycle and the lady's like, I'm not riding that, it's gas. So what I haven't mentioned, and now that no one is around me right now, I can say it. So this one is a 350 24 volt. They have a bigger version. They have two bigger versions. They have a 450 24 volt and a 750 36 volt. Well, there's something to be said about kids learning to ride, the way their face lights up, and even 50-year-old men, when they get a bike for the first time, their face lights up like they're a kid again. Well, I wanted my face to light up too. So I bought the 750 watt 36 volt version, and I've been riding around the shop for weeks, and it is fun. Well, not weeks, but a week before I could tell everybody I had them and everything. I just didn't bring it out for this video or to him because I wanted him to learn to ride and be comfortable. I didn't want Big Sister to crash into him, and you know, it can get sketchy, a bunch of kids riding. My point of this whole, bringing you all along for this whole thing though, was really to, well, remind you guys, and most of you are really good in the comment section, but I see it all the time in Facebook groups and stuff where people are just rude to folks that ask questions. New riders, I want people to enjoy riding motorcycles. I want my kid to enjoy motorcycles. I'm really glad this bike fit him. It is 21-inch seat height. He's about 42 inches tall if you're curious for your own kid. He tiptoes it, but it's at 47 pounds. It's actually not too heavy for him to control. He's almost dropped it, but was able to recover it, you know, while he's walking it around, which I'm actually surprised at. I guess the battery and motor and everything being low helps him with the center of gravity. All of that translates to an actual motorcycle, a brand new rider. So it's important to help folks that don't know. Doesn't it do anybody good to just be rude to them in a Facebook group? So I want to thank you guys for being awesome in my own comment section, the 99% of you that are. And keep that up. I'm going to keep up trying to teach everybody a little something about motorcycles. I'm really glad that my kid is officially on the journey himself. One thing that I really want to point out as well, though, you can't push wanting to ride two wheels on someone. I see a lot of husbands that want their wives to ride and their wives don't even want to ride, and then $15,000 later that bike has 50 miles on it and it's in for trade. What gear you wear, whether you want to ride at all, the bike you choose, all of those things really make a huge difference as to whether or not you like being on two wheels. So some things to think about if you're new yourself, or if you're experienced and you know someone that needs some help with stuff. If you're curious for your kid or whatever, if you have questions about Burromax, the company, links are down below. Like I said, not sponsored at all. They're just super friendly. It's a family-owned business. Super nice guys. I want to see companies like this succeed. I deal with a ton of companies. Some of them are just absolutely crappy, think their product is so good that they don't have to be nice to you. Sometimes their product is pretty damn good. But that doesn't mean customer service can be lost on you. So shout out to Burromax for being totally dope and helping me make my kid happy. You're okay in my book. Anyway, you guys know I like to talk, so I could ramble on forever. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big dirty thumbs up. Hey, my thumb is actually clean because we're working with electric today. If you want to see more content from me, usually about Harley-Davidson, subscribe right there. If you want to see actual Harley videos that I made, there's a video here, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Welcome to 2019. Welcome to 2019. Hello.